Hello, my name is Wyatt Peterson, and I am the Environmental Education Program Coordinator at the NorthWoods Stewardship Center.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what your job entails?
Certainly. So, my job is dynamic, which is awesome, and some of what I do includes working after school programs at various schools around the Northeast Kingdom, and that can look like various different program themes such as survival skills, learning about recycling, and and so those programs would span 2 or 3 months in school, and we could have 2 or 3 sessions in a school year. So we would be doing those programs all through the school year, and normally that looks like going into schools, working with groups of kids, and now that'll look a little different. That's one thing that my position entails. Also, running summer camps is super fun. We have various week-long summer camps that we have, and those can be anything from mountain bike camps to general adventure camps. And let's see, another big part of my position is coordinating and facilitating school groups and having schools come to our campus at NorthWoods in East Charleston, Vermont, and also hosting groups of adults and doing adult outreach programs. And that could look like anything from a canoe trip to a snowshoe in the winter to a hike up some of the local peaks around here. So it's dynamic and it's season to season, and it's super fun.
Can you tell us a bit about your educational background and how you came to be in this line of work?
Yeah, so in college I studied biology, and so that really got me into the biological environmental field. And prior to going to college, I had worked at a summer camp, and so I knew that I loved working with kids, and I wanted to take that to the next level in working with kids year round and not just in the summer, as well as teaching a little bit about why protecting the environment is so important, and how much how hugely important it is to our lives. And so I think that studying biology in school really got me to where I am right now.
And what would you say is your favorite part about your job?
Whoa, big question. I would say my favorite part about this job generally is getting outside with kids during the summer, with students during the school year, and and showing kids and students how fun it is to be outside and to learn at the same time, and how they can potentially do the same things on their own. And so helping kids find the appreciation for the outdoors and why it's so important to our daily life.
What do you find most challenging about your job?
I'd say that most of my challenges come from working with the kids, and in that I think the most challenging part of the job is motivating kids to be a part of the lesson and to participate in what you are trying to teach them, and what you're trying to do with them, and also motivating them to be outside. And I think that if you are able to show them through your interactions with them that you're passionate and you are excited and you are there for them, and you can show that through your voice and your body language. But if you're able to get that message across, then the kids are more likely to be motivated to follow along and to participate. Um, yeah.
And can you walk us through what a typical day looks like?
Certainly, and maybe I'll pick out a couple different days from different seasons since it's so dynamic throughout the year. But a typical day during the summer with day camp would be arriving to NorthWoods to the lodge in the morning and meeting with the other team members that are getting ready to help out for the day. And then there might be a little bit of activity preparation before we meet the kids and parents if it's a summer camp, and we would meet the kids and the teachers if it was a summer school type of camp. And then once we greeted them, we will go into a morning activity to flush out that energy and to start the day on the right foot with some fresh air. And then after that, we would go through the agenda for the day and expectations, and then we would jump right into it. Morning activity number 2 after the start. And those activities can be team building activities. They can also be a sort of arts and crafts activity, and we love to make those nature based so that we're using natural materials like woods and sticks and bark and other things like that. And then other forms of activities that we like to run throughout the day are action, moving around, active activities like playing camouflage in the woods or building gnome homes and fairy houses, just little miniature houses that are pretty fun to do. And then we'll have lunch in the middle of the day, and the kids are usually super psyched for that. And then after lunch, we typically like to go for a swim in the Northwoods Pond. And after that, depending on the camp day, if it's a longer day, we'll have some more activities before a parent pickup at the end. And those activities might include a little survival skills like shelter building or fire making. And fire making is fun because we can start with fire making, but then we can move up to maybe making some cedar tea over the fire using the leaves or the flat needles of the cedar trees. And then at the end of the day, we like to have a wrap-up circle where we reflect on the day and think about the positive things that happened, and think about what we're looking forward to, what we learned perhaps. And so that's a summer camp day. And let's see, in the winter when we're doing after-school programs, we might have a program during the day, like a half-day program before we visit schools for after-school programs. And so the program during the day could be a canoe out on the Clyde River perhaps with a group of adults, or it could be a group of high school students perhaps. And that would wrap up around 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and at that point we would prepare and get ready for our lesson for the day for our after-school group. And when we visit the schools for after school, we might be driving by ourselves, or depending on our schedule, we might carpool with some of our other team members going to different schools. And we have a little crate with our activity materials, and we walk into the school, we meet our group, and we might be based in a classroom, or depending on the theme of the program, we might be outside. And usually those programs are 45 minutes to an hour long, and depending on the school, we might have back-to-back programs with different age groups. And those programs usually wrap up around 5 in the afternoon, and at that point we head home, back to Northwoods rather, and unload our materials, and that usually wraps up the day on a typical winter day.
What do you think would make someone a good fit for your line of work?
I would say someone who is very passionate about the outdoors, and that can look like a couple things. I think that It works well if someone is super passionate about recreation and getting outside to be outside, to exercise, to observe the beauty of nature, but also someone who may be scientifically minded or just passionate about caring for the environment because of its importance to our success as human beings and also just protecting the planet. So I think those two passions um, fit well together for someone that is looking to go into this line of work. And I would say also someone who enjoys working with kids and enjoys teaching a little bit. And the teaching aspect of the job is sometimes sporadic and here and there, but at the end of the day, we're trying to pass on knowledge and important parts of the natural world to students, and yeah, I think as long as you're willing and maybe excited to do that, those are some great tools to have as someone looking to get in this line of work.
And if a student is interested in this line of work, what would you recommend that they do to continue to explore that? That could be volunteer work, classes, projects at home, part-time job.
That is a great question. I would say volunteering is a superb way to get into that, because if you are able to utilize your free time and look for projects in your area that are volunteer based, or if you at least ask around to see if you can help out at various places, more often than not, you're going to get a positive response. And I think generally people are very happy to provide suggestions to folks looking for volunteer work, because it's so important. And generally there are a ton of projects that that are founded on that sort of that passion and that interest. And I would also say a lot of self-exploration. If you are looking to get into this line of work, you're passionate about being outside and about protecting the environment, I encourage you to explore on your own, and oftentimes it takes exploring and just sitting outside in the forest, in the natural environment for a long time, and at that point you can start to notice some pretty magical things about the world that is hard to notice when you are with a group of people, or you are going about your daily routine, your daily life, when there are a lot of noises to prevent those observations. And I think for me that really fuels the fire in terms of discovering things on my own and sharing those experiences with kids. And I think that is a powerful thing. So between volunteering and exploring the natural world on your own time, and also working and interacting with kids, I think those things, definitely looking for classes and taking classes wherever you can, are all great things to get into if you are exploring the possibility of getting into this line of work.
All right, one last question for you. What kind of education or training should an interested student be thinking about down the road to help them succeed in this career?
I would say that some important training and education would be definitely education in the environmental and or biological realm, and those are definitely umbrella themes for education in terms of training. So I think there are so many things to explore in that realm of education. So I would say under those umbrellas would be a great start. I think that going to a school outside of where you live, maybe that's not college, maybe that's something else, but going to college for me was a very positive experience, not only in educational training at the higher education level, but also observing and perceiving the thoughts and ideas of peers, of people my age that came from different places and were from different backgrounds. And I think taking those perceptions into account, I think, helps form a rounded and healthy perception of your own in terms of educational training. And I think that that's a great way to then, inform your decisions about what you might want to do after that sort of training. But I think that higher education is a great place to go in terms of training for a job like this.
Awesome. Well, thanks for all your insight.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.